Are your sales meetings lacking any type of direction, and are they even making an impact on your people? Well, today I'm going to take you through the SHAPE method, which can take those meetings from mundane to motivational. What's the SHAPE method? Well, it's an acronym I came up with for support, highlight, advise, promote, and encourage or emphasize daily discipline for your team to get better and for you to have a better running dealership. Now, if you want to change what's happening in your dealership and you want to change culture, or you want to make a big impact without spending any money, the first thing you need to do is change how your team starts their day. And to do that, you need to have a very disciplined plan on how to get the day started. Because you know how it is, almost every dealership, the staff showing up right about starting time. They get there, they have a little huddle to decide who's gonna go get breakfast, who's gonna go get coffee, and then they talk about nothing for the next two hours, and then finally they start getting their day ready around 11. Is that happening for you? Well, if it is, I'm gonna teach you how to get them on track right from the beginning of their day. Now, the first letter in the SHAPE method is S, and that's support. And support means that you're listening. You know, if you go to a support group or you need some support from somebody, you need somebody to listen. And as a sales manager or a leader, you need to listen to your team. And to do that, you need to be the first one at the meeting. You need to get everything set up. You need to set the tone in the meeting. You need to be an actor if you have to. If you don't feel like it, it doesn't matter. You have to be prepared, and you have to be putting on the act of being excited and motivated. So listening to your team is super important. You have to have a servant's heart and understanding of your team, because they won't listen to you unless they know you care about them. So support them. Understand what's going on, maybe before the meetings started. Maybe you even got music playing. Things are exciting. They're talking about things that are going on in their lives. This is super important for you to be able to support them because you understand what they have going on. Now, the next letter is H. H is highlight. So as a manager, you want to highlight or encourage the things that you want them to repeat. So, for example, if you want them to do a good job of inputting into the CRM system, this is the time you bring it up and you say, hey, Jerry, great job. I see you're doing a really good job in the CRM system today. Or you got a survey back, and the survey was a 5-star survey or a 10 out of 10 survey that you got from the manufacturer. You point that out in the meeting, because these are the behaviors that you're trying to get them to recreate over and over again. Now, it's super important that you emphasize and you get everybody excited at this portion of the meeting. So you are really pointing out what you want done, you're pointing out what people are doing right, and you're praising the individuals in front of everyone. Now, the next one is advise. And people are not going to take your advice from you if you just killed them for the first 10 minutes of the meeting. So this is why we want to encourage everyone from the beginning. And we want to make things excited, because people will listen to you more after they got pumped up or they feel good. So you point out the things they're doing great, and then you say, okay guys, now we have to have some type of housekeeping. We need to go through, hey, I noticed that we haven't been doing this right, or hey, we didn't get the dealership locked up last night. When the opening manager came in, the door was unlocked, or whatever it is you need to talk to them about. But the key is, in this setting, in this meeting, that you are talking about negative things in general versus the encouragement part where you're individually pointing out to the people that you're encouraging. So make sure you're not putting anyone on the spot directly. That's for a different meeting. That's for a one-on-one meeting where you have to sit down with the team. But we will always try to praise people in public, reprimand in private. But in that advise portion, if you put it in front, the first thing that happens in the meeting, you're going to get pushback. Now, I've been in a lot of those meetings. One of my very first sales managers, man, he was just beating us right from day one. all right from the get-go. You get into the meeting, you guys need to do this and you need to do that, and man, we would always have the meeting after the meeting about that. Sales guys get around, oh man, this is BS, this is wrong, blah, blah. You know, you set the tone of the meeting negative right from the beginning, and it's just gonna spill out into more negative topics outside of when the meeting's over. Now the next part is P for promote, and you gotta promote self-development in your team, and you have to develop them also. You should never ever hold a meeting that you did not teach somebody something new that they can go and use for themselves. And you have to be really, really promoting the self-development, because everyone knows the people that actually spend time on themselves are the people that actually are more successful. And if you have a team that's just waiting around for you to teach them something, they're gonna be waiting around for a long time. So you have to really promote the self-development. And in your meeting, around 50% of your meeting should be dedicated to what you're teaching. Now, you can't just wing this. You really have to come up with a plan. And you need to really look and assess what your team is lacking, and then use that time to really to develop your team with your training. So make a plan. This takes some time. You really need to spend quality time getting your plan together. This is no different than a guy going to the gym. And you go to the gym with no plan, you're really not going to get anywhere. So as the manager of the meeting, the manager of the department, whatever it is, your training plan is super important. And you need to pick the items that your team is lacking, and you really need to become an expert on it yourself and do your best to teach during that time of the meeting. And then the last letter is E. Every day you have to be doing these meetings every day. Whether it's just a daily huddle that you're accomplishing this, or you're actually having a sit-down meeting every day, but the consistency is where this pays off. Because I guarantee you, your competition's not doing it. Your competition's not taking the time to train your people every day. And if you do this over a year's period of time, your team's gonna be way better than they were a year before. And guess what? That year is gonna come. Time flies. So make sure you're disciplined enough to get your team to do this every single day. Now, this is something you can do in parts department with the parts manager and his team. Service manager can be doing this also with his team. Any of your departments, they should be having this quick meeting with this structure to get everybody going in a positive direction for that day. And I guarantee you, most of your competitors are not doing it. And this gives you a huge advantage. Time over time, it compounds and multiplies. And these benefits you're gonna receive back with happy customers and better deals for your bottom line. So there it is, a quick blueprint. Follow the SHAPE method. You support your team and listen. You highlight and encourage the things you really need them to do. You advise them, and you really promote self-development and training in your team. And last but not least, you do it every single day over and over again, and be disciplined, and you will see big changes in your team.